Love adventure documentaries? We've got one for you. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Trango is a new documentary presented by The North Face, arriving on video on demand February 13th. And it follows ski mountaineers Christina Lustenberger and Jim Morrison as they attempt the first ever ski descent of Great Tango Tower in northern Pakistan. Jim, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, what at first drew you to this challenge, the Great Trango Tower?
Well, the Trango Towers have been just these iconic granite towers in the far and remote mountain range. My whole life, I've read about sort of elite alpinists and mountaineers climbing these granite walls at nearly 20,000 feet, and always just marveled at this range and these crazy places. And talking to a friend who had been there and had climbed the Trango Tower one day, I asked him, as he described the route, I asked him if he thought I could ski it. I mean, if I could climb it, excuse me. And he turned to me and said, "No, I think you could ski it," which just totally blew my mind. I had envisioned this place as these vertical walls of granite. And then we started looking into the possibility of finding a way down on skis, and it just got really exciting. And we moved over there and started to try to make this happen. It took a long time.
Give us an idea about the preparation. I guess it's physical and mental that you and Lucy needed to do. And tell us about the partnership.
Yeah, well, Lusty and I both sort of live, eat, and breathe climbing things in the mountains and skiing back down. So the preparations, many years of climbing up and getting physically and mentally prepared to do things like this. We have both done lots of different descents in different parts of the world, and putting together a trip like this involves a lot of logistics and a lot of planning and a lot of pre-preparation to put the team together and get the people that you need to help you get into the mountains and exist in the mountains. So we had a whole team of porters and cooks and support on the mountain. And then we went to Pakistan twice over 2 years. We spent a little over a month in base camp both times. We ended up spending over 2 months to try to ski this one run from 20,000 feet down to 14,000 feet.
And you had actually made an attempt a year earlier, right?
Yep, we went for just over a month, and we made it really high on the mountain, but we were turned around by a big crevasse and something we hadn't planned on in our day. And then time after time, we had a lot of bad weather and a lot of different things go wrong with our team, sickness and weather conditions, and we were just thwarted by difficulties and came home with our tail between our legs. But we're so passionate about the line and the opportunity that we decided to reorganize a whole nother expedition and go back and try a second time. And sometimes great things that you really set your sights on, you gotta stay focused on them and persevere and find your way through the nose and figure out how to turn it into a yes.
Well, that's a good message for all of us. So you did this, it'll be 2 years ago in May. And without any spoiler alerts, I guess, what were some of the greatest challenges that you and Lucy encountered here? Different types of snow and terrain, I imagine.
Yeah, I think that the climb up and the ski back down are threatened by a lot of objective hazards. So you're in a really like cathedral of tall granite mountains with snow and ice stuck to various parts of them, and that snow and ice is being pulled down by gravity. So there's lots of risk of avalanche and a serac fall, ice fall. And we had to find a time and a way to get up this mountain safely and get back down safely. So our biggest challenge was getting the team in place, keeping everybody healthy, which proved to be difficult over 2 years of existing in a really inhospitable environment. And then with reasonable health, finding good weather conditions and good safety conditions to climb and ski.
And once you have completed this kind of a challenge, this great challenge, How does that feel? Is there the euphoria? I imagine there's that, but is there also a letdown once you're done with it after that long of a preparation?
Really, truly, there's both. I mean, the feeling lying in my sleeping bag in that tent down at our base camp that I'd spent so many nights at. I think we were there for something like 68 days over 2 years. I remember lying in my tent that night with just such a deep sense of satisfaction that we'd achieved this goal and something that Christina and I had worked at so hard and we were so focused on. And we had such an amazing team that supported us through this whole endeavor. I was just thrilled and ecstatic. And then when we come home and we come back to day-to-day life and you run into someone at the lunch spot you go to get your lunch and she says, "Hey, what have you been up to? How's life?" And you have this contrast of this crazy world that you've been existing in, yet you're back in normal day-to-day life. And we call it PTSD, which stands for post-traumatic stoke disorder. You come back to day-to-day life and you have to sort of reassimilate into normalcy.
Yeah, but not for long because you're always thinking about the next thing. And the next thing for you was it Everest? Because you did that what about 4 months ago?
Yep. There's always another bigger, scarier, steeper, taller mountain. And I've been working on trying to get to the top of Everest and ski the North Face for a long time. And that kept me focused and kept me going.
And those people at the lunch counter, and I'm sure you get asked this all the time, why do you do this? And what makes you and others like you, these extreme athletes, different from everyone else? How do you put that in words?
I think for me, it's about passion. I'm just very passionate for about the mountains and about our natural environment, and I like to get into these beautiful environments and put myself in a challenging situation. I sort of thrive on the challenge of putting all the parts and pieces together of making an expedition like this work and trying to get to the top and come back down safely is just a deep passion, something I've been working towards since I was a little child. And I've always been fascinated with skiing down and putting tracks down something and then having those tracks get snowed over or blown away the next day, spending an extraordinary amount of time to try to paint a drawing down a mountain and then have it all just disappear and be back to its natural world the next day is I don't know, something that I'm deeply passionate about.
And mentally, how does fear not get in the way?
Fear's just a big component of what drives me, and I think I've adapted to use that fear to focus on what's important and what I need to pay attention to. So as I start feeling different sensations of fear, I think that heightens the focus of what's not safe or what's at risk here, and I use those to try to maintain a level of safety and a level of focus to pull this whole thing off.
So now everybody is going to be able to watch this. Where can they catch the documentary Trango presented by the North Face?
Well, starting on the 13th, you're going to be able to watch it on Documentary Plus and Vizio, and we're working on a number of other options to get people to be able to watch it on a big screen, hopefully on their television or something bigger than their phone.
Right, right, exactly. It takes that to be able to feel it, right?
Yeah, it's really a cinematic. The photography and the cinematography is really special in this film, and there's some incredible views of really dramatic mountains in a truly otherworldly place.
That's another aspect of it. The filmmakers, the camera people who accompany you on this, and we've seen other adventures like the building climb a week or two ago. Those people aren't the stars of the show, but boy, they're facing a lot of challenges too, I suppose.
Absolutely. The guys and girls who are with us on these expeditions and documenting them are, incredible athletes themselves and incredibly talented with their tech in the stuff that you guys work on and cover. Leo Horn, who was the director, principal photographer of this film, is just an incredible camera person, and he flew a drone to the top of this mountain and filmed us, trekking in and climbing and skiing and all the parts of it. And it's just really, really, really special shots that we put together here.
Very exciting. Jim Morrison, congratulations, and thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you.
The Haven 10,000 lantern is a smartly designed, beautiful solar light that you will love indoors or out. It is waterproof with up to 1,200 lumens of brightness, that's a lot of light, and the base becomes a flashlight at the push of a button. The power comes from a built-in lithium-ion battery recharged by the sun, the solar panel is built in, or USB-C. The battery can even recharge your phone. Did we mention how durable it is, how it folds down and can run for up to 120 hours on a charge? But the real power of the Haven Lantern comes from the people behind it and their mission to provide this quality lighting to those in the world who need it most, including in disaster emergencies. Your purchase helps to fund those efforts, and if you use the code Techstination20, you'll get it at a 20% discount. That's Techstination20 at havenlantern.com. Create your haven.